I know you're listening. You're here because something isn't right. Something feels twisted, upside down. Things don't add up. Hello, human. Welcome to our twisted universe. In this episode, we talk about mold and its effect on our minds and bodies with Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen, with your hosts Joe and Christy and our favorite co-host, Bob from Exit the Matrix on Facebook.
Support this channel by visiting asaricrystals.com. Asari crystals are precision cut by Paul Jensen. He uses Marcel Vogel's technique to amplify the crystal. Asari crystals are tools for evolution. They're created for healers and psychics. These are powerful tools that can assist with spiritual growth and protection. Thank you for your support. Look for a discount code at the end of this video as a special thank you from your host. Hi, and welcome to our Twisted Universe. Today we're going to be talking with Kim the Worm Queen and Bob from Exit the Matrix. How you guys doing?
Doing
good.
good.
How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good.
We wanted to catch up with you, Kim, and see how things are going with your new shop. And we were hoping you could educate us a little bit more about the dangers of mold and the most common worms that people can get.
Yes. Hi guys, how are you? Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. We're good. We're busy. The kids are like really helping a ton of people in order to, and you guys did them, so I want to hear all about you guys. How they can kind of reset their body. So we're super busy. And we did get we expanded our shop, so that was cool because we were in a 175 square foot building when we started, and now we're in 2,400 square feet. And we have like 15 employees now, so we're definitely getting the word out to people about how you should be cleansing your bodies from parasites, because we all have parasites. At least most of us do, right? And we're looking at the mold kit. So the mold kit is around May is when we're planning on doing it. Again, we're doing it the same exact way we're doing the Parafy kit. It's 3 tinctures in the binder. We're just using anti-mold, mitochondria herbs. I'm kind of excited about one of our tinctures. It's called Recover. It's going to help with the hair growth, because a lot of these issues happen when you're depleting your system due to the parasites and due to the mold, which they go hand in hand. They're a big deal, and we just don't talk enough about it.
How would somebody know that they are having problems with mold? I mean, what would you look for?
So have you ever had a leak in your house? Do you have anything that's questionable in your house? And there's a couple of different options. You can get your blood work done. And I have options now in my profiles that have consultations over the phone for people. They can run their labs. I have a lab option in my file, in my profiles as well, to allow people to just self send labs off. And also, so blood work's a big one. Looking around if you've had leaks and looking around your house. And the nice thing is that both of our kits, so not just the Parafy kit, but the mold kit, even if you don't ever have mold in your house or you've never had an issue, it's just good to reset your body. It's just herbs that we've used that if you do have some mold stays in parasites. You do a parasite cleanse, it releases spores, it damages the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of your cell. And so the herbs that we use just help regenerate the cells and help your body just kind of push anything if you've been around the mold. Well, I got my blood work done. That's how I knew I had Aspergillus niger and exactly which mold I had. You know, there's tons of mold, but I knew I had Aspergillus niger from my own blood work. But the reason why I got my blood work is because my eyes were swelling shut. I had rashes. I was having a hard time breathing, and I was very angry. And the anger is a big thing because it affects your liver. So your liver affects your moods. And that's how I was like, I'm not an angry person. My husband's not an angry person. And we were angry like all the time. So those are things that you can check for.
That's crazy. I didn't know that about the anger. That's so weird.
Yes, it's huge. It's funny because since we did get out of the mold, we stayed in an Airbnb on Sunday night in Jonesboro when we were at the house or at the shop, and both of us started getting angry. And I'm like, what is happening? Jeremy opened up the door to the wash machine and it was covered in black mold. We immediately packed up and left because I'm like, why am I so angry? Like, I'm not angry. Like, I've had a good day. I mean, I'm talking like it deep down in the heart of your tissue, you feel angry. Like, it's the weirdest thing. He brought in a chair from the trailer. We thought we ozoned it, didn't work. We brought the chair in immediate anger. Immediate. Like, as soon as, and I'm like, what is happening? I was on the phone with one of my friends and she was like, all of a sudden you switched. And I'm like, Jeremy just brought those chairs in. He just brought him in. I'm like, bad. And I like picked him up like Hulk Hogan and like threw him out of the house.
So it happens that fast, like
Yes,
immediately after
especially
contact.
immediately, especially after you become aware that you've been exposed to mold. And you especially if you cleanse your parasites, the next one is mold, because now your body has become like sensitive in a sense. It knows what's going on.
I remember when we first moved from the Pacific Northwest to Texas, it's a drier, well, it's a sunny climate. And I didn't realize like how everything was really kind of moldy smelling when we were unloading the truck. Like when I lived in the Northwest, I didn't notice that it had a weird smell. But when we were unloading our stuff, we could really smell like a mold smell. It was really strange. We got rid of a lot of stuff, but yeah, I don't know if it's in the air or is that something that could happen, or it's just like it's a little wet out there in Washington State.
It's so wet. I do believe everything you're saying. That's like the thing I thought too, because we are kind of going a little bit between the two states. Arkansas is a little more dry. And I'm like, gosh, I feel way happier here. Like I don't feel as sad when I'm somewhere where the air seems fresher. It is a little moldy here. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that's a thing. The spores travel in the air. So yeah.
That's nuts.
That explains a lot.
It does. It totally does. I thought about that the other day too. I'm like, I'm way like calmer when I'm in art. I have more energy because mold takes a lot out of you. Like, I know it's time for me to do a round of my mold detox because you have to mold detox when you first find out what you have. I will be detoxing for like 18 months, but I don't do it every single day anymore. I was every day. Now I take breaks, but I can tell when it's time for me to detox from mold because my hip starts to hurt. And that's normal, like pain in the joints. At first I'm like, okay, the parasites, but I don't have parasites. So I'm like, what's happening in my body? And that's when the mold like kicks in because it stays in our system for an extended period of time.
I don't think people realize how detrimental it is to the health either.
We've been told that it's not. And think about it. Everybody's been in lockdown for years, right?
Yeah.
Years. In their house that has mold.
I feel sorry for me. Yeah, you got to pay attention to that. Definitely see if you're feeling better when you go on well, of course, when you go on vacation, you're going to feel better, but do an exam, like a quick body check or something, see how your mood is, see how your body feels. And if you're feeling different, you might be experiencing a mold problem.
Yes, that is what we did. That's how Jeremy and I like started to slowly figure out that we were being mold poisoned. So the last time I talked to you guys, I was detoxing from mold. that's why we were in the random place we were in last time, because we were like almost 2 months away from mold the last time I talked to you guys. And then it's noticeably different. Like my skin's different, like my hair's starting to grow back. Like you start to lose your hair. I lost half my hair, which was really sad. You know, we've just been told this isn't a thing from Western medicine. This just isn't a thing, but it is a thing. It is a thing.
That's nuts. So we wanted to tell you we're on day 8 of our parasite cleanse. We're doing the Parafy kit. Yeah, it's it's not as bad. Like I'm not putting mine in water. I can just, take the squirt
I
bottle.
stopped doing that too. I'm just too busy.
Yeah, no, I think it's, well, some of it, like the metal flesh, that actually doesn't taste bad. It's kind of cinnamony, or I don't know. They don't taste bad to me.
Me neither.
But so I'm gonna be gross.
Okay, let's go. I'm excited.
I have a laundry list as well.
Okay, and Bob, you got yours too. You've done the kit. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm checking after I go, and I went pee, and yeah, there was like little white. I'm like, I just peed on a worm. I think it look as best as we can tell. What's the little
Like
one?
a pinworm.
Pinworm.
Yep. Okay.
Super tiny white and about, I don't know, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch long.
Look like a little baby rice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No
That's a
tapeworms.
pinworm.
No tapeworms. But
Yay, no tapeworm.
that's one little buddy I didn't want to meet. For sure.
There's a bunch of them I don't want to meet.
So I have done a parasite cleanse before and never noticed anything like that ever. So, and sure enough, day 3, boom. Day 3, I noticed something and I was like, oh boy, here we go.
So when I was trying to figure out what the worms were, I looked up pinworms, and the article that I came across said that it's estimated that 1 billion people in the world.
1.5.
1.5
1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that's a B.
have pinworms. That's a lot of people.
Yep, it is. And that's only like documented 1.5 billion, right? Like, because there's what, 8 billion people in the world, and
Yeah.
75 to 80% have worms, so their number's way off.
Yeah, it's just an estimate. Very, very rough.
I didn't expect to see anything. And I was really, really shocked when I did. I was like, wow, that's really freaking gross. But
Shocking.
better to get rid of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had that, and then I've had symptoms like my ears are just, they're driving me crazy, itching. My vision cleared up.
Yeah, that was.
My eyes aren't bloodshot anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a cold, but I'm pretty sure I had candida overgrowth. All of the congestion that was like has been plaguing me for the last 10 years is gone. I have my voice back. I used to sound all raspy, and now I sound like normal. So there's some definite improvements along the way. It hasn't been awful. It hasn't been scary.
Mm-mm.
And so far I haven't seen any scary monsters come out of me. So
You should increase your sustain to 3 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll help with a lot of that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the usnea is going to mop it up. That's one of the herbs that's in there. It's going to clean it up. So.
And I haven't had any ill effects, so I haven't been taking the Cinnabon. Should you take that anyway, or?
Yes, you should start taking the Cinnabon as well at night when you go to bed.
All right.
The binder rule is 2 hours. So if you take anything, you wait 2 hours, then you take a binder, and then you wait 2 hours, you can take something else. So there's a 2-hour buffer. It's because binders pull, they don't activated charcoal and Ceylon cinnamon, they don't know the difference. So it just pulls everything out. So it's like, oh, a toxin. And so your body uses it and pulls it out. But if So that's why you do 2 hours, just to make sure that if you took any meds or Parify, Sustain, whatever, you wait 2 hours, take the binder, wait 2 hours, and then do whatever else you need to do then. And
Okay.
if you guys have a sauna or something where you can sweat, this is Dr. Jess's. She does bind, sweat, and kill. So you're already killing. You go in and you sweat it out, and then you bind it. That's how you also can get rid of mold without using any herbs. Bind, sweat, and kill.
We do have a far infrared sauna.
Then you should do that. You should do it at least like 15 to 20 minutes a day, and it's going to help with your detoxing. You can also add castor oil packs. Castor oil helps with your lymphatic, so does the saunas. And what's going on with you is upper congestion, and it very well could be candida, but it's going to help pull the mucus, and then you're going to bind it, and it's going to help pull it out faster if you do sauna. And you can do castor oil like on your neck.
Oh,
You can do
okay.
like castor oil and then warm, or you can do castor oil and go in the sauna too. So like, because castor oil really works well with red light. And so if you go in there, like I'll do castor oil and then I'll get in like my Therasage infrared sauna, and then it'll help bind things out too. I found that the herbs are great, but like doing these extras it's been a game changer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have the sauna is to
You'll see a huge difference, especially in your sinuses, because you are definitely getting some stuff out for sure. That's awesome though, right? It's so
Yeah.
weird it works. It's like not weird that it works, but it's just so weird because who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah, within the first 3 days, my voice came back.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, we were driving home, and it was at night, which is usually when I'm about as blind as I can get. And I'm like, wow, everything's in HD now. It was just like, it dawned on me, I could see crystal clear.
It was crazy.
And I mean, I've been worried about it. The doctor says I've got cataracts, and my vision has been super blurry to where sometimes I just can't even see. And and I thought, oh, it's just I'm getting old. That's what the doctor says. I went to the eye doctor, and he says, well, you're kind of young to be getting effects from the cataracts, but you do have the beginnings of them. And so, I just kind of resigned to that. But with this, my vision is clear now. It's really fascinating.
Have you heard that before? I didn't know
Yes.
that. Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was taken aback.
Huge relief.
Floaters. It's really crazy. I want to hear about Bob too. It's really crazy because, these are just things that like you just can't say because you get so censored in it. But the inflammation in our bodies are so terrible. And so what I did when I was designing this is I just thought, okay, yeah, anti-parasitics, the parasites, they're going to exit your body. Oregon grapefruit, but what's a dual function of Oregon grapefruit, which is in Sustain, is anti-inflammatory. It's a verbine and an anti-inflammatory. Wormwood is it's a steroid, Mother Nature's steroid. So it helps build your system up, while Oregon grapefruit goes in and helps drain out the inflammation and kill the parasites, because that's what it does. That's like, it's an anti-parasitic. The Usnea cleans out all of the bacteria because it's antibacterial and antifungal. And then when you bring in the metal flush and you use cilantro as your as your heavy metal detox, then anything that's released from what you're killing, like Oregon grapefruit and wormwood, are going in and targeting parasites. It releases the heavy metals, which then allows it to kind of clean up. And a lot of times they're in mucus, they're in biofilm. Most people say, oh, do a biofilm buster. Well, you don't always have to do that. You can actually gently go in and do all of this cleansing with these herbs. And then it's really uncomfortable to cleanse. Like my first cleanse, I was in a lot of pain, and I don't talk about that a lot because I don't want to stray people off from doing these cleanses because they're so important.
Yeah.
So important. But it was painful. And I thought, well, what could I take that would help while I'm doing a cleanse for the pain? And willow bark does that. Willow bark is the DNA structure of basically aspirin. So it goes in and it helps. Oh, well, then the pain. And then lungwort, which is also really good for you to continue to take metal flush. Joe, when this is all done, you can continue to take Meadow Flush, because lungwort lichen actually is for mucus and respiratory pneumonia. It goes in and it cleans up all that mucus. So you've got one herb coming in and swooping in and doing another, and then you've got other herbs coming in to support that herb. Then you take that binder and it cleans all of it up and then shoots it out of your poop pee, because it's binding it all and getting rid of it all.
Did you think that the worms were you saying they were encased in mucus?
Yes.
I thought that might
Yes.
sound familiar.
Yeah.
Yes. They're encased in
I might have
mucus.
seen that.
There's like, and literally you can see it sometimes when they come out. Like I see, you know, hundreds of pictures a day. So the mucus is like it's clear, it's a biofilm, and then they can like swim in it. They live in it. It's their home. Like
Like a little
how
pocket.
we live in houses and condos. Yeah. Like that's how they get their nutrients in a way, right? Like they're living in it. It's warm, and you know, you bust that out and then they come out. Now, they have some that just bust them out, but you got to kind of do it strategically or it makes you sick. And that's where die-offs come in. That's why we talk about them so much, because then people are prepared. They're going to feel like trash some days.
Yeah, I've last 3 or 4 days, I felt like I've had a cold.
It'll go away though.
My coworkers keep asking me if I'm okay.
And it hasn't really slimmed me down.
Yeah, I don't feel run down like I normally would with a cold, where you get tired and it's just congestion that's clearing away. It's not really heavy either. It's interesting.
Increase the sustain. Take your binder now at night. Tonight, start with your binder, and then go and do the sauna. And then if it continues, if you have castor oil, do your castor oil pack. Dry brush will help with circulation in your lymphatic. So basically the two things that happen, like your lymphatic pathway is probably just not on par. So that's why you then add all of these extras in. That's why we say 3 P's with your pathways: peeing, pooping, and perspiring. They sound crazy when you think about them, but that's how your body exits toxins. So you're going to feel really good in a couple of weeks. Like if you guys are having this many reactions at the beginning, you're going to feel really good in a few weeks. You'll be like, oh my God, how did I live like this for so long?
You don't know how sick you are until you're well.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Bob.
I noticed it more like in the excrement, you know. I think we like sushi and stuff like that, so I must have had a lot of that stuff in my intestines, and that's been the main thing I've noticed. And then what was interesting, I remember the last talk we had with you, Kim. I remember you were talking about like full moons and all that. Well, before that, I noticed when the full moon would be out, my skin would start itching and
Oh
stuff.
my God, you had totally had parasites.
Yeah, that kind
You
of freaked me
did.
out, you know, because I was like, oh my gosh.
You did. You totally did.
But
Itchy.
I had a question. So
Uh-huh.
I take multivitamins, like high quality organic phytonutrients and stuff every day. Is there any way that, you know, a good way to take supplements alongside the treatments of parafly and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever want you to change anything. The only thing you should not ever take Parafy with is with blood thinners or chemo meds. Other than that, you just continue doing your normal day to day. You don't change. I mean, your food should change. It's such a hot topic too about food, but your food should change a little bit, but you never want to change any of your vitamins. You want to keep doing it. And here's why. Do you want me to explain why? Here's why.
Yeah. No,
Because right now, 90% of your nutrients are going to them. It's feeding them, it's making them have energy, and you get 10%. So we're not living on very much of what we're taking. Vitamins, food. I mean, not that our food has a whole lot of nutrients anymore in it, but you know, we're not living on that anymore. And as you start deworming or cleansing your body, you start to go from 90% of them getting, or 90% of their nutrients, you're at 10%, you go up to 15%, and then you feel a little bit more better. So then you're going to be like, oh, well, maybe I feel good enough today that I can wash my produce right. And then I get the nutrients, and then you go to the next level. And as you start detoxing like you're doing, more and more nutrients are going back into your system. More and more nutrients are helping absorb because they're no longer absorbing them. You now are. That's why you start to feel better. So we want you to continue to take the vitamins and not change anything, add more in, give your body that energy it really needs while going through this, because this is a lot your body's going through. It's been used to this way for decades, right? It can live in you for your whole life. You have to eradicate the pinworms or they just live in you. Like that's the mentality that we've always thought is, oh, well, they'll just die off. Nope, they just cycle. As you know, they just cycle through and then maybe they go dormant. So as they're dormant, you're getting more vitamins, right? You're eating better, you're feeling better. And then all of a sudden you have an episode or a flare up. And it's because, well, they're awake and they're aware. And maybe you ate something they didn't like, so it made them wake up. Like pumpkin seeds. They don't like pumpkin seeds. Papaya seeds. They don't like those. So it definitely is a cycle. So continue taking everything that you normally take. And I'll say sometimes increase what you're doing just to give yourself that extra boost, right? Because it's not going to harm you. It's just going to help you. So yeah, like I'll usually increase all my vitamins on a tough die-off day. I don't have die-offs a lot anymore. That's where we can all get to, is we just cleanse, and then we don't have these adverse reactions anymore when you are one. That's why we say 3 to 4 times a year, because by your third one, you're like, oh, I'm feeling good. It's just a daily thing now, right? It's just an additional supplement I'm taking for 30 days, and then you move past it. That's where we all should be. And that's why other countries think we're ridiculous, because we're like, we're cleansing, we're getting rid of the worms. They're like, yeah, we've been doing that since birth. So, right. And it's not a big deal to them. They're not like, this is really hard, because they're not killing anything off. Like die-offs are because you're killing stuff off. So to answer your question, sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but it's why we don't feel very good even when we're on all of these high-end supplements. You're only getting like 10% of them at the beginning.
Another question, if you don't mind.
Sure, go for it.
Just for other people that will listen to this. I know I'm not really good at it. I don't do it regularly, but I know a lot of people do. What about people that do fasting? Is it all right to take this while you're fasting? Is it even good to kind of pair it up?
Please fast. If you can fast, even if it's intermittent fasting, and it's crazy because you're starving, but so are they, right? So are whatever toxins in your system you're trying to kill off. You're starving, they're starving. So you want to fast. If you can juice. If you can go like veggie and fruit, all veggie and fruit, do it. And the cool thing is, one, we're boosting our website so that all of this information will be on our website soon. It'll, right? I don't want to gatekeep anything from anyone. It's not fair. So I have someone writing a food book for us. It's going to be on the website. I have all this information. All of it will be free. I'm not charging anything. It really kind of sometimes bothers me when people do take and gatekeep and charge for it. I don't want to charge for it. I want you to make sound decisions on if you should cleanse your system, and then which kit, when we do come out with the mold kit, which kit's going to be best for you. You got to always do parasites first and mold second. But with the food, wait, was that the question? Was about food? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, like is it good to fast with that?
Yes.
You know, if you're able to.
And you want to try and eat anti-parasitic types of food just to give yourself an extra boost. I fast. I'm an intermittent faster where I'll fast for 16 to 20 hours, and I do it more when I'm cleansing. And usnea, which is in the sustain, will help curb your appetite. That's one of the big reasons why I put it in there, because that is actually a side effect of usnea, appetite curbing. And so we're trying to kill them off. We're trying to make it an easier non-die-off setup, right? Because you don't want to be miserable while you're cleansing, or you'll stop cleansing. We don't want you to stop. We want you to continue to make it through at least the 30 days, if not longer. So you saw flukes, huh? Were they like round and big and kind of clear and like slimy looking?
I don't know. Just wasn't pretty. I don't know. I don't really want to gross people out, but
Okay.
know.
I'm all about the grossness. Like
It just
I used to do. Yep.
things didn't look normal, and yeah, you know.
I mean, Bob, did you think he had worms?
I guarantee we have well water, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I said, we eat sushi, and I do like meat, but I realize that red meat and a lot of those different meats and poultry and all that, pork especially has a lot of worms and stuff in it. And I like eating foraged mushrooms, and I'll admit I'm not very good at I know some people will like put them in like salt baths or something to
Yeah.
draw the worms out. And I figured, well, as long as I cook them good right before, it didn't really matter. But I think now I realize maybe it's probably smart to do that.
Probably, but we still all have to live. I think like the persona, at least in my opinion, is that all of us cleansers are like, well, this is all we do all day. No, that's not it at all. We still live our lives. We just are now aware that this is something that we should have always been doing. This isn't something that's like that out of the ordinary. It's just out of the ordinary for us in Western medicine. I mean, so while I was on my cruise, was talking with one of the people there, and she's from Jamaica, and I go, "Hey, I know that you guys do some sort of deworming," and she goes, "Well, I mean, we don't call it deworming. We just go and we take this bush." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." And she goes, "And then you excrete stuff, and then if you don't feel good, that's the first thing you do. You take this bush, and the way you guys are saying it is worms." And I'm like, "Yeah, deworming." She's like, "I mean, we just don't say it that way. It's just something that we know we practice every few months, and it's normal to us." And I'm like, "This is definitely not normal to us. Definitely not."
Nobody will even talk to me about it. And I'm like, it's
No
so
one.
important that you know about this.
Mm-hmm. They look at you like you're crazy. Oh, I know. I so know.
Well, the most reaction is, "Oh, I can't. I don't want to hear about it." I'm like, "Really? You'd rather have the worms then?" I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
You should pay attention.
It's like the thought process behind like toxoplasmosis, right? Like the mouse has toxoplasmosis, the cat and the mouse become friends because the toxoplasmosis takes over the brain and tells the cat and the mouse to be friends. The mouse is like, "Oh, I should be afraid of you, but I'm not," because then it wants to jump in and be the host of the cat. And then it then cycles to us because we're better hosts. We're the best of the best host, right? Because we eat like shit and we're the best. We're the best. And it's just, we should be doing this. This should be a thing. This should be a standard thing that goes into our life every few months.
Join us next time for more on mold and how to rid your body of it with Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen. Amplify your frequency with AsariCrystals.com.